Hello everybody, I'm going to offer you another little nugget. The suspension of disbelief works, right? So you think you know something, you think you know what you're capable of, you think you know what will work and what won't work. That boxes you in. That ends up getting you what you always got. The suspension of disbelief is a little bit like engaging with your skeptic, okay? So skepticism is fantastic. I'm a skeptic, okay? But to be a proper, thorough skeptic, you have to prod it, you have to test it, you have to see whether your skepticism is valid. And the way to do that is by exploring the alternative, giving it your best shot, and coming to a conclusion based around the experiences that deliver themselves. So the whole purpose of the suspension of disbelief is that it juices your creativity. Yeah, it opens your opportunity set. It expands the possibility because you're no longer within the prison of what you know to be possible or what you know that you're capable of or good at. And instead, you suspend that negativity. Yeah. Now, one of the definitions of hypnosis, in actual fact, is the suspension of disbelief. So you can get someone in a state of hypnosis, if you want to call it a state, to know that something doesn't make sense, but to let go of that, knowing that it doesn't make sense. And so on stage, they're going to munch on an onion thinking that it's a juicy apple, yeah, for example. They know somehow or other that there is an onion, and yet they suspend that. And instead, they play with the idea that, well, because someone's told me, they've suggested to me that this is a juicy apple, I don't believe it, but I'm going to suspend that disbelief. Yeah. And it's a fascinating thing, this. It's very, very powerful. And the human being has the ability to hold conflicting views at the same time and to dance with them. And you can see this, for example, if you watch hypnosis shows on stage. You might tell someone that the object in the middle of the stage isn't there. If you ask them to walk across the stage, even though they know that it's not there, they might look through it. When they walk across the stage, they won't bang into it. They will walk around it. So they're capable of holding the perception that there is something there in the middle of the stage, and at the same time suspend that, play with the idea that it doesn't exist, and yet when it comes to physical proximity, meander their way around it. Yeah. So the whole idea of this is that we are capable of multiple perspectives simultaneously. Yeah. So, okay, fair enough. So stage hypnosis, right? What has that got to do with therapy? But the point is, you can use this to your benefit, to your advantage, when it comes to personal development, when it comes to conflict management, when it comes to getting out of your funk and doing different stuff. So if you suspend your knowing, you suspend the story which is running inside of you and play with the potential, you can discover new capabilities within you because you've relaxed those chains of what it is to be you, of what it is to maintain consistency with your yesterday, of what it is that is driving your expectations, your rule book, your values, your justices, your injustices, your fairness, and so on and so forth. And you come to different conclusions when you experience stuff that doesn't fit with that. So the suspension of disbelief really, really works. Yeah. Now, there's limits to this. Obviously, I'm not suggesting that you go to the top of a mountain. you have a very, very fervent disbelief in your ability to fly. Yeah. I'm not saying that you suspend that disbelief. But what I'm saying is that there are ways to question what it is that is maintaining the negativity monkey inside of you. And just let go of that on the fringe and see what happens. See where that leads you, in the full knowledge that you can come back whenever you choose to do so. Yeah. So you only do this when it's safe, when it's appropriate to do so, when it's sensible. Where maybe you've reached the point where you're trapped inside a question and you're starting to circle it, you're starting to ruminate it, and you're starting to over-intellectualize it. And you need to get out of that. So you suspend that over-intellectualizing. You throw away that and you play instead, and you come to different conclusions. That's it. That's all I want to say about that. But believe me, it works. Suspend your disbelief and see where it will lead you to. It's tremendously freeing. Yeah, and life exists on the fringe of that certainty perimeter. Yeah, when you push against that comfort zone, that's where it expands. That's where you rediscover sort of a childlike sense of possibility inside of you, and you can then go on to discover things about yourself that you weren't aware. I'm going to shut up now. All right. If that's of interest, follow me. Subscribe, because I'm doing many of these little videos, little conclusions that I've come to, and I hope some of them might be of interest to you. All right. Cheers. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.